This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today's 10/17/22, show number 432. Well, we had some major turmoil in the markets last week, Nick. Sorry we couldn't connect, but we're connecting now.
Yeah, we're back in business here. And again, sometimes that stuff happens, but we have schizophrenic markets that are going on. I mean, last Thursday, the major indexes staged a massive short squeeze. It was a rally for the ages, only to give most of it back on Friday. And today we're rallying right back up. And it just goes to show you this is schizophrenic markets at its best. Most traders are thinking these markets can get a bid into the elections. I'm not so sure of that. I think right now we have to just take this one day at a time, wait for some kind of a pattern to really tell us a little bit more. But there are stocks out there that look attractive, and there are going to be equities that look weak. Now, remember, this is important. Options expiration for October is this coming Friday. That'll be the 21st of October. So this is a whole entire week of institutional game playing. You're going to get tons of it. And this happens with the popular strike prices on the popular stocks. These institutions know where the small retail trader has placed his bet. They usually take the stock away from that popular strike price, so his option expires worthless. If you're going to trade options the next couple of days, do not use the near-term expiration. Give yourself some time on the clock. Go out a month or 2 or 3. It's okay to do that, and pay up a little bit for that option, but you'll give yourself some time. You do not want to trade the near-term options expiration. So we'll see how it plays out. Lots of stocks were down last week, so maybe they are going to give it a bounce this week. There's certainly that's certainly a fair possibility.
All right. Well, it's going to be interesting to see, that's for sure. And can't overemphasize options expiration enough. That's for sure. So, but the earnings season's begun, and everyone thinks it's all going to turn around, huh?
Well, we've had earnings on Friday. It kicked off with J.P. Morgan. I believe we had Morgan Stanley. Their numbers were not good. J.P. Morgan caught a bid, but I didn't think there was anything sensational there. Today we had earnings from Bank of America and Charles Schwab. As we sit, Bank of America is up over 5%. Then you have Charles Schwab today down about 1.5%. But you know how earnings play out, Kerry. Everybody watches the expectations, right? It doesn't matter really what the number is. Are you going to beat expectations? Do you guide going forward? So that's going to be the tail of the tape. How many companies are going to warn? We've had a lot of companies in the last couple of weeks warn about earnings coming up. So, we'll take it in stride, but the bar certainly has been lowered this earnings season. So many people are out there thinking, hey, if they could just do a little bit better, maybe the Fed will pivot, maybe things will be better. That's really what you're hearing right now. And in all fairness, that's all it is about. So I would be careful this earnings season. I would never, ever, ever take anything for granted in this kind of environment. There's a lot of problems out here geopolitically. We've never seen this kind of backdrop. We also have never seen the central bankers raise rates and start a quantitative tightening in the middle of a potential recession. So I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's stranger than fiction, but this is the world we're living in.
Yes, it is the world we're living in. So what's going on with gold here? And silver? Silver, you already called the low in. It's retraced a bit to be expected, but what about gold?
Yeah, gold is having a good day today. Right now, we are looking at gold futures up a little bit over 1%. But, last week gold got slammed. And one thing I want to say, during options expiration, never rule out another sell-off in the precious metals. It's just been the theme. I don't know if it will happen this week or not, but we could go back and look at every monthly expiration, and we see a sell-off generally in the precious metals. Today, gold is getting a bid after selling off sharply last week. So right now, gold looks strong today, but I couldn't say what it's going to do the rest of the week. It's just too hard to tell.
But the direction here, you think we're getting to that ultimate capitulation point?
Oh yeah, if gold continues to move lower, I've said it before. Gold gets down to 1,500, it's the buy of the century, and I'm not even putting that lightly. I think it's actually the buy of the century. So right now, if you look at gold futures around 1,668, they're bouncing around. They make these little bounces, but bigger picture, it has to go lower. It has to fulfill that downside objective before you get a real bottom. And when that bottom comes in, we'll see who has the nerve to go in there and pick it up. I will be a buyer there, hand over fist. I will tell you that much. But I will tell you, most people will be running from gold at that stage of the game. But we're not that far away. We're basically on 150 points away or less. I mean, that could happen in the gold market, rather quickly.
That's remarkable, huh? So that we're that close, huh?
I believe, we're very, very close. And, I don't know the catalyst. A lot of people say, well, what's going to make people want to do that? And I'm just going to say people are losing faith in governments. They're losing faith in their political leaders. They're losing faith in their central bankers. What else would you want to own when you lose faith? You're going to want to own gold.
Well, have you ever had faith in the first place, right?
Well, a lot of people still do, right? A lot of people are still out there. I see it. I call it the supermarket theory. When I go to the supermarket, I get bombarded with neighbors and people that know me because I'm in the business, and they ask me all sorts of questions. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was all about Bitcoin, right? I couldn't get away. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Now they all got their tail between their legs. Nobody's talking about Bitcoin anymore. Now they're all talking about, hey, you think the market can come back? You think, hey, now they're talking about doom and gloom, how bad things are. This is where we are at this stage in life. It's very, very psychological. And it like we call it, it's schizophrenic markets right now. So yeah, when things really get rough and you got all these geopolitical events going on, you're going to want to own the precious metals. And gold still has not put in its bottom yet, but it's getting closer.
All right. Well, how will we know when the bottom is in, Nick, other than you telling us?
I'm not sure, but you'll see the reversal take place. And then, most people will just look at it like deer in the headlights. It's just the way it works. Same thing with silver. Back when I said that silver would make that move in silver futures, nobody believed it would happen. And, again, it's just the same premise there as well. This time, gold is a precious metal that's a little bit higher priced. But, I had a chance to buy gold in 1999. I missed that opportunity, but I was smart enough to get in 2003. And I'll tell you, this is that kind of opportunity again.
Well, I can tell you somebody who did buy it in 1999. You know who that was?
I don't.
Me.
And there you go. There you go. You're a lot smarter than I was at that time. I was a young kid. I thought I was a young whippersnapper and said, no, I'm going to follow Warren Buffett. He just calls it a useless relic. But, I was smart enough, at least in 2003, to catch that gravy train all the way up. And this is that kind of opportunity, in my opinion.
Well, we have a lot of useless relics in Florida here, Nick,
So I hear.
In fact, I might be one myself. Sooner or later, right?
Well, sooner or later, if we're lucky enough, we all become one. So that's the good part about it, and again, you try to enjoy this journey as best you can.
Hey, and as far as my kids are concerned, I might be a useless relic now. Because you know how smart kids are, right?
Yeah, well, they know everything.
Oh, yeah. But getting back to the serious nature of this, Joe Sixpack, Steve Chardonnay, they don't really have a clue. If you're one of them, you don't have a clue what's going on here, Nick. I mean, they really, really don't. So what do you tell those guys?
Well, I tell everybody I don't know what's going on either. What I say is watch the charts, learn the charts, and the charts will tell you what to do, because without the charts, I would be lost in the water as well. I mean, this world makes no sense whatsoever. It's upside down. It's upside down the most I've ever seen it upside down. So you could shake it like a snow globe and it's still not coming back together. We have wars going on around the world, geopolitical events, a backdrop of the likes that I've never seen before, at least in my lifetime. So, again, learn the charts. Without the charts, really, I wouldn't stand the chance either.
All right. So I will tell you that things are crazy. I totally agree with you there. But we've been through insane periods in history before, haven't we?
We have, but I don't know if we've, at least in my lifetime, in your lifetime, Kerry, I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this. This is something that, probably happens, once every couple thousand years. I don't know. But I've never seen anything quite like this. This one takes this is a little bit out there. When you look at what governments do, when you look at how they're, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, I mean, media control. I've never seen anything like this. Somebody this morning told me on a walk with my dog. They said, "Do you think this is like 1984?" I said, "Yeah, it reminds me of that book." And I haven't read that book in since high school. So we are living in very, very strange times and difficult times for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, but our savior is still hanging in there. Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Bitcoin's still hanging in there. Today, actually, it's got a bid. So Bitcoin lives to fight another day, up about a little over 2%, trading at around that 19,600 area. But traders got to remember the larger pattern on this is still in a downtrend. This thing's going to go sub 13,000 on the next market sell-off. And again, be very, very careful with it. If you're savvy, you might be able to trade this thing on some uptick days. But, if you don't know the charts, I really would avoid it at all costs, because the next drop on this thing, takes you really, really much, much lower. And like I said, I have this thing going down to probably the low 12,000 area.
Yeah, well, it seems like that 19.7, the 2017 high, is really becoming resistance now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the more we consolidate this, you got to remember, we've been consolidating really since June. I mean, Bitcoin broke down in I believe it was around June 10th. Then it put a little bit of a low in on June 29th. That low was really on Bitcoin futures down to around 18,500. We've tested 18,000 just a couple of days ago. Then it popped right back up. So what this is making is what we call a long weekly and monthly chart consolidation pattern. And these patterns can hold formation for a little while. They may hold for a couple of months. But the next time you thrust down with some volume or some velocity, I mean, that's where the ceiling falls out. And again, that pivot from 2017, that pivot high there, that's no longer going to be support. And the more often you pound on that level, the less strength it has. So just remember, we've been banging on that thing now for 5 months, and there's some magic numbers in the market. So it's not too much longer.
All right. And that is what I find really fascinating. That's why markets are always interesting, because just when you think you have them down, they wind up and bite you in the butt. And this time it'll be no difference. So if you want to try to navigate what's going on, you got to go over to Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com, see what he's doing, see what he's done, see why you need to act now. We'd love to hear from you, by the way. But in the meantime, check out the Twitter feeds. You can respond there at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, and at Kerry Lutz. Post your comments to the YouTube channel by all means. We'll be addressing some of them in the not too distant future. But send us an email. Let us know how you're doing in this market. Are you in cash? Are you in metals? Are you in cryptos, or a combination of them? How are you coping? We want to know. KL@kerrylutz.com. Nick, happy Monday. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Sounds good.